On the menu tonight is Singapore chili peppery crab curry. So if you guys are interested in this recipe, stay tuned. I picked up these beautiful blue crabs from Carrefour today, 3 kgs, and I brought it home, and I'm just going to clean this and then proceed with the recipe. I also want to show you these dried prawns that I got from Empress Market. Now I would like to use these dried prawns in this recipe, but if you don't have it, you can use prawn or shrimp paste. 10 pieces of big sized crabs. I'm going to cut this into smaller pieces so it's easy for me to make a curry out of this. Wish me luck. I'm going to chop these sides. Cut the leg off from here. Just going to bruise these so that when I'm cooking the masala goes in them. Chop from the center. I've also split it. Now I'm going to wash this very well, and I'm going to get rid of these liquid that you see. So this is one piece of crab, and I'm going to be using this for the stock, not really for the curry itself. So I'm going to separate that and boil that separately. I'm still washing all of this, but I just wanted to show you, as with everything that I bring home, I wash with salt or vinegar because I feel that takes the bacteria out. And this is the top half of the crab, and it's got this yellow thing in it, and I believe that when I make stock out of this, I should let that be. Now I get very scared with seafood, especially if it's not from Karachi. So I've washed this really well and I've left the yellow bits in it. I'm just going to add some water to this. Okay, so that has to be put on the stove to boil for at least half an hour. Okay, so this is how I wash it. And I also remove these bits. I'm going to wash this again. So this time I'm putting vinegar and salt, and I'm really going to wash this well. Gotta be careful. Don't worry, the salt will wash out very soon, so it won't be salty if you're worried about that. Okay. The water is still murky in spite of washing it so many times, washing it the third time now. Okay, these are just some of the ingredients I'm going to use. I'm going to start off with blending or liquidizing 2 onions with 1.5 inches of ginger and at least 4 or 5 fat cloves of garlic. Very noisy. Dried bird's eye chili, but you can use Kashmiri lal mirchi. 2 to 3 should suffice. 2 to 3 de-seeded bird's eye chili red, and 2 to 3 green chilies. Put that in. Let's blend. Okay, that has to be roughly chopped. Do not add water. This is approximately, I would say, about 2 to 3 heaped tablespoons of dried prawns, which I got, as I told you earlier, from Empress Market. I'm going to make a powder. Now I know that you might not have this, and this actually could bring about the change in the recipe, but don't worry, there's always shrimp paste, and if you don't have that, then the crab stock that I'm preparing right now should do the trick. So I've taken a really old wok and it's ruined, and that's why I'm using it. Do not use a non-stick for this recipe because the crab legs are going to scratch that. I'm taking the dried prawns and I'm going to dry roast it in this. Now dried prawns can burn easily too. I'm roasting that. In the meantime, I'm going to crush these peppercorns and I'm going to dry roast at least about a heaped teaspoon of this. These are 3 colored, rather multicolored peppercorns that I got from my trip to New York. You can just use regular black peppercorns. These are a little spicier. Dry roast this too. Sorry, I'm moving the camera around. I'm in a hurry. I have to serve this in another 15-20 minutes. That's possible. If you were here, you would understand how pungent this is. I love it. It's also used in Nuthi Jo. Once the peppercorns release their aroma, which they have, I'm going to add a good amount of oil, and then I'm going to start sauteing the masala. I've added that into the mix. sauteing till it browns a wee bit, not too much, because if I try to brown this too much, then the prawns are going to get darker. While that browns, I'm going to blend in about 4 tomatoes. Sorry about the noise, there's a lot of work going on here. I'm adding a 5th one. Come back to the curry, add some curry leaves. I like to add that here. I don't know if the Singaporeans do, but this is my recipe and I'll do what I want to. Just kidding, it just elevates the taste, guys. I'm going to add some salt now and maybe add some later. Next up is curry powder, which is also my choice of masala for this. I'm just going to use about a teaspoon. You can use Pakistan's Shan ka curry powder. Just make sure this masala doesn't burn, guys. In case you're using the dried prawns, we don't want kadwa dried prawns. Let's add the tomatoes. I used 5, I said 4, but I added 1 liter. If you want a good curry, you have to make sure that you bhuno it really well, so there's no kacha masala smell. And for those of you who don't understand Urdu, you have to saute this really well so the oil rises and there's no raw masala smell in it. Okay, I'm going to use a tablespoon of chili paste with soya bean oil. I would have rather used fermented soya bean, but you don't get that here. We're going to do with what we get here. And I'm going to add a sprinkle of sugar to this now. Always remember, sugar adds a little bit of balance between sour and spice. A little bit of vinegar, just a teaspoon. I'm going to add lemon juice later. This is nearly done. I've used less oil, so that's why it's taking slightly longer. I'm going to add the crabs to this, and then I'm going to really bhuno it well, saute it well. Okay, I promise it's really done. Now I'm going to add this into the mix, and Ali's requested me to add some coconut cream. Singapore chili crabs don't have coconut in it per se, but then again, it's what I want it to be, right? 3 kgs of prawns. Not a big enough fork. I want you to see this beautiful blue color when it touches heat. How it turns into a lovely orange. That's happening, and I just want to take this and empty the stock. Add the coconut cream. I'm going to mix that into this now. It's smelling good. I'm going to mix this and cover and cook this for 8 minutes until the crab is done. Then I'm going to add one or two other things. 8 to 10 minutes. Last few ingredients, a teaspoon or maybe a tablespoon of fish sauce. I'm just going to add this and lemon and a little bit of butter. And maybe just coriander, and it's done. Butter goes in now, and I have a special guest to show you. Hello.
Yo.
So, how is it? Oh, baal khol rahe hain. Please, मेरी kitchen में बाल नहीं खोलना.
It was great.
Please, मेरी kitchen में बाल, please नहीं खोलना. बस अब ये तैयार होने को है. Spring onions and coriander, and sir, what do you think of this? Very special.
Please, sir, just one more bowl.
Okay, this is ready, and it took me a little while because I got distracted, and also cleaning the crabs took me quite a while. I could have gotten it cleaned by the fishmonger or the guy at the market, but I thought I'd do it myself, so just to be on the safe side, everything would be clean. Please don't be overwhelmed with this recipe, it's really not that much, and it's started off as a Singapore chili crab, but then it's become a Singapore chili crab curry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe as much as I enjoyed making it, and I hope to see you on Ifnatcancook later.